Aivazovsky was born on 17th of July in 1817 in the ancient Crimean town of Theodosia, where his father, an Armenian by nationality, had settled at the turn of the century. His father was a relatively well-educated man who knew several Oriental languages, and who, though a trader of small meals, played a significant part in the commercial life of the town. Unfortunately, the plague epidemic that swept Theodosia in 1812 wrecked his business, and when Ivan was born, the family had fallen on really hard times. The boy's eager mind soaked up all the colorful sights and sounds which Theodosia with its mixed population had to offer. He also had a keen musical ear and soon learned to play folk melodies on the violin. In later years he would play these melodies of his boyhood to his friend Mikhail Glinka, the composer, who used them in his compositions. It was drawing, however, that really captured his imagination. Lacking other materials, he used to draw with charcoal on the whitewashed walls of the town. When he began his career, Russian art was still dominated by Romanticism, and it was the Romantic mood which set the terms for Russian landscape painting in the later half of the 19th century. It is surprising then to discover Romantic elements both in his early works and in the majority of his later canvases, as reflected in his choice of subjects. Again and again we find him depicting shipwrecks, raging sea battles, and storms. Aivazovsky was not merely a professional marine painter. He knew and loved the sea, but he did not limit himself exclusively to seascape painting, and if he turned to other art forms such as landscape and portraiture, these were only brief departures from his chosen subject, to which he remained faithful all his life. By the 1850s, the romantic element in Aivazovsky's work had become even more apparent. This is clearly seen in one of his best and most famous pictures, The Ninth Wave. A group of shipwrecked survivors are about to be engulfed by an enormous wave. The merciless pounding of the elements is brilliantly conveyed as the waves roll, rise and crash down with full force, revealing for a moment the deep truths between them. The restless surge of clouds and sprays of foam strengthen the impression of a raging hurricane. Survivors, still clinging to a broken mast, continue struggling for their lives. The sun has just peeped out, piercing the watery chaos, raising their hope of survival. Aivazovsky's greatest achievement is the Black Sea. Here the artist created a generalized image of the marine elements in their ever-changing manifestations. The distant horizon is calm, but closer up the waves start rolling as the sea gets rougher. In the immediate foreground billows heave up, crested here and there with foam. Their measured undulations and the vastness of the sea are conveyed with exceptional power. The fine blue of the sky is receding before a dense grey wall of clouds. Colored shadows appear on the water with dappled patches and flecks of light, some blue, some pure green, just as in real life. Aivazovsky died on 19th of April in 1900 on the verge of the 20th century, leaving unfinished a picture he had begun that very day. Whatever the future of Russian art might be, there is no doubt that Aivazovsky's creative legacy will always be a treasured part of its history.